I think the thing about this best of 7, just to kind of talk to the dynamic that involves a best of 7, Elevate are going to have an advantage early in this season because they get the first opening map selection. That also means they get their first control selection. So it is crucial for Q9 to keep things tight and hopefully extend this series later down the road where you see your arsenal and a very square footing on the Kurahana.
I think it puts an exclamation mark on how important these first 3 maps are then, especially for Q9. Walk away with one of these would be great. Summit is actually going to be the first venue, of course. We have not seen these two teams fight it out here, but expect for your usual suspects to pop off when it matters most.
It's been a routine playground for Q9 inside their region as well as at CDSI, and at the moment, they are off to the races on P1. Early time from Elevate, already counteracted. Sun having a little bit of a tough time locking down the shots to find the continual kills, but his help is around the backside, and that's good. Q9 already doing a nice job around P1, trying to get some high ground control now as they look towards P2.
And it's the proactivity from Q9 that makes it very respected when it comes down to respawns from their region. Getting all the kills, but then pushing a little bit further forward does open up the back P3 spawn ever so slightly with 5 seconds remaining inside of P1. Q9 would have loved to hold on to the rest of the high ground, but good trades coming through from Elevate off the spawn point.
Yeah, looking really decent. Uling will have the final word on P1. Rotating on over. Chen, he's already got a KRM at the ready. Pred missile called in. That's extra space for Q9 to work with his elevator, trying to move this from the right side of the map. Trying to get a little bit of a pitch now as the split spawn situation allows a natural pitch to start to occur, and with that glow, able to find himself too and push Q9 out of the hard point.
How long can you hold? You know, you mostly just want to get as much time as possible, but get, most importantly, those spawns, and we'll Elevate, we'll just start sprinting into them. Other side of the map now being held by Q9. Claw will start to be popped immediately for Q9, and a War Machine soon to follow as well.
Yeah, really solid start here. Uling, of course, leading the charge for Q9, the first operator to pop. Jen down low, KRM hidden like a menace from mid-range. That's enough for Q9 to hold into the hard point, but they are a bit awry, trying to make their way over to the left side of the map where our new hard point will open up. Elevate starting to fight back, but they get pitched up as Uling once again doubles down, and now you've got Q9 on the favored side going to 3.
Talk about the consistency of the Emperor Uling on this very fine day. He was a problem for X-Rock in the respawns, and it's nice to see the continuation here, especially if you are a fan of Q9. 51 to 29. You're already cutting past mid-map, split spawns have occurred.
Indeed the case, and the extra kills for Yopi. Elevate know that they need to push through this, so they're going to commit to Claw to watch the flank and actually turn back around as the snow pathway is still being held by Q9. Susano in a little bit of trouble, able to find one more before dropping, but Q9 have stabilized and won back the spawns. They will win rotation and jump into the hard point.
Starting to set themselves a little bit on a further flank, but Q9, I mean, they can just focus on the front, keep this as scrappy as possible. Already have a couple operators just to make sure that they can maintain this time.
Great space being opened up as Jet through mid has the Purifier. That range will eventually see him shut down. Sun takes his attention to the background, but that's Elevate now with the break. Nice little surround and wrap around the hill. Allows them to flip the spawns and the hard point simultaneously, and Klo will make sure that there is definition around this last 20. Equalizers out and active. PJ holding the opposite corner. Here comes the hit for Q9. Broken ankles, doesn't matter. Elevate find all 4 kills and they'll get the scrap.
I still find that to be an absolute win though for Q9. I mean, you got the majority of time there on P3 and you got the equalizer out, but with those final few kills, by giving up a lot more lives to try to break inside the scrap time, but P3, you actually given up a lot of spawns and a lot of space at new.
Yeah, Susano already doing the job, found one. Trying to get in to try to flip these spawns back where Q9 will be on the left-hand side of the map. So far, so good though. Q9 still holding it desperately. Down to how does Elevate push back through, open up this space. PJ's trying to do that with the, not Purifier yet, but he had it ready. Instead, it's just going to be Elevate just trying to do this the hard way, and it's not working out fully until finally you got Susano and Yopi to clean things out, and now the Purifier with Kendi's War Machine can take focus to the front.
Just keep everybody at bay, kind of herd them into these very narrow choke point that exits out of P1, and Kendi is just finding random nonsense kills, just yeeting these grenades into the distance, all calculated, of course. The majority of time coming through for Elevate here on P4. They did a magnificent job on the transition. Looking pretty good for the scrap time as well.
That's a lot of operators gone though for Elevate. Q9 trying to get a late flip, and they will secure a break. This is good in terms of how Q9 can hold off from this map getting a little bit out of control. Same can be said about how Elevate did this on P3. So again, very 50-50 battle to this point. Elevate going to commit their last hit to jump on in because why not? But Q9 right there to meet them. Last one left is Chen, and Elevate are really avoiding him nicely, but not enough numbers to actually secure the break. We've got a tie game going into the next set.
Crucial moment on this transition going into one. Uling does have a War Machine at the ready. Probably going to see a couple kills come through and might use it just to try to keep Elevate trapped on whatever side of the map Q9 see fit. Chen's going to start this little flank coming through with the KRM. He's going to get caught. Does do well to at least find one. Had a good look at the second. It's just space provider for Q9 to move forward.
Sun able to drop in a Pred missile to help support Uling and this War Machine active. He's got a lot to learn, though, in terms of where this Elevate team is trying to break from, and well, it's Curly, who actually beats him to the punch. Claw able to find 2 from the front doors. Not going to find the third, and that's right as Uling loses his War Machine. Maybe an opportunity here for Elevate to break this hill wide open. A couple of kills come through, allowing at least some sort of contest, but Q9 still just too many members to deal with. Kendi trying to do what he can. Tally's up 1 off the low health pool, but still, it's Q9 and mostly Uling who are locking things up until Susano finds the opportunity to pop the claw, take a couple, and Elevate quickly bounce right back in for the scrap.
Gotta be careful with how far forward you push here. If you are Elevate giving up the opposite side of the map, their spawn will occur, but it's a massive spree to come through from Susano. The rest of Elevate's trying to follow suit. Trying to at least maintain presence, but they're a little bit too late to read where the spawns are starting to come from, but still, winning the gunfights when it matters most. Big 2 for Peach.
Opportunity here, though, for Q9. They've got a couple operators at the ready. And with that, a couple of eliminations to get this hard point started off on the right foot. Clove on the catwalk, trying to make his way in, but met by Sun Sparrow, who's really getting to work with it now. Good read on where Elevator are coming from. Loses the last charge of it, now has to go back to the Fennec, and that works out nicely. Mauchi off the flank. He's got the equalizers out to make sure nobody from Elevate can set up a sort of a pitch, and that's enough for Q9 to reclaim the lead.
We do have one flank that's currently being put together. It's PJ up to 27 eliminations, going to try to stun his way forward. He has assistance from his teammates from the middle of the building, but it's a north to south spawn that is currently occurring all the way across the map. Finally will subside. Elevator on the better side of the map with scrap time still left to fight for here too.
Susano will jump in to contest. Lots of damage, able to find a kill, and his teammate will make sure that he stays alive. So really good help from Elevate, flipping the map and also getting a little bit of contest going here on the last 15 seconds or so. Q9 have to fight through Old, and they fight through it very nicely. Now the play over towards the right side of the map. Elevate still not getting the spawns on the left side because P2 is still active. As that lock starts to come out, now the spawns will move, and wouldn't you know it, Q9 spawns behind. So the early effort for Elevate immediately counteracted, and Q9 are flooding their way forward.
Elevate very quickly, just cutting through the middle of the map, trying to get into these gunfights before they actually end up happening over inside of the car itself, just trying to be a little bit of a nuisance on the opposite side for Elevate to help them get a little bit further forward. Breaking enemy lines has been Susano, and a War Machine gets popped by Kendi. They're looking to hold.
Sun had an off spawn, and he thought maybe he was going to hit a bit of a pinch, but does not get the read on the Elevate setup, and all of a sudden, it's the Filipinos who find themselves tucked into corners on the hard point. Kendi running out of the War Machine. Purifier behind this, but it runs out at the same time, so Q9 find 3 straight eliminations, and now it's their turn. War Machine for Uling at the front door. Mauchi setting up a bit of a pinch over towards the connector. Sloppy initially, but still, he uses that as an opportunity to weaken this Elevate approach from the front. Curly's able to clean things up, and the last 15 seconds looking good for Q9.
Gotta be careful with the investment here if you are Elevate. Trying to at least break this. Is a very egregious flank coming through from Yopi. Gets snuffed out, but the spawns will still remain at this moment in time. 170 to 159. And when you look at just the stats from left to right, as far as KD is concerned, Q9 are outslaying Elevate by a steep margin. But it's still only just about a 20-point game, barely. Elevate have the rotation to new, and they're anchoring out the back spawns.
Big moment here to counteract Q9's rotation from the last hard point. Susano feeling the pressure, shut down. That may be an opportunity for Q9 to flood. They're actually not going to play for the sponsor to get into the hard point first. So Kendi now has to take his attention forward. Good kills from him. Maybe a chance to do a little bit more, but Curly, he's got the claw out, and he's making it work as he finds a couple. Q9 able to bounce into the hard point off the front, and they will get the split as a spawn as well.
Split spawn occurs for PJ. He gets 2 more to spawn up behind him. But Q9, they are twisted right now. They're reading all of these spawns. They're maintaining presence around the hard point and setting themselves up for the returning gunfights as well. 193 to 168.
Big.
Late break does come through for Elevate, and it is massive. This 20 seconds will tie up the game again as we go to new once more.
I mean, we're 30-30 on P1, P2. We're 40-20s on both 3 and 4 for one side or the other. This is about as tight as it gets. We're watching some great COD, friends. Both teams, when asked a question, provide answers. So now we reset again. 190, 193. A couple of operators in play. Pred missile early for Sun. Does lock down 2, giving a numbers advantage to Q9.
Got to work your way back through here in Q9. Mauchi wanting to make sure that they get the majority of time here at 1. An equalizer is very good at this moment in time. Starting to push a little bit forward. He's actually going to catch a couple of spawners off guard. Able to find 2 more. There's still one hanging around the joint. It's Yopi. Easy cleanup will come through. There's a rogue player of PJ, but good value coming through there for the equalizer, I'll say that.
Uling trying to get the War Machine into play. Purifier also being called here. Q9 trying to gain some separation on the scoreboard late into this map, and it's working out nicely. Elevate, push back, have to reform and try to hit again. 25 seconds to fight. Contest is in. Smoke making a mess at the front door, but Uling and the rest of Q9 are able to clean up nicely. Big moment. Greatest lead we've seen to this point as Elevate try one more time.
Still holding on to the better side of the map, and they will clean house. So
big.
With 5 dead, they're going to be able to set themselves up on the high ground. A rogue spawn does occur, though, from Malchi. Wonder if he's able to find anything. No, Yopi too aware, but the returning gunfights coming from Sun. Curly able to at least combine for 4 more. The rotation under threat.
That's 4 down. Yopi, last one left alive, does well to keep some high ground position available for Elevate to use, and as they come off spawn, they do so beautifully. Shed, KRM, not quite able to land. Kendi trying to force the battle forward into Q9 spawn, but doesn't fully work out. A chance here for Elevate. You've got the Purifier and the Claw at the ready, trying to find whatever they can over the top of the hard point. Chen runs right into PJ. That's not going to be enough for them, and Elevate are going to clean the floor. Q9 now spread across the map off the spawn.
Equalizer called. Kendi's War Machine is about to dissipate as well, but it's value after value. 220 to 225. Not enough time for Elevate to still win here, but Q9 absolutely can.
Glow from the back line, only finding one. The rest of his teammates right there to pick up. Tie game. Likely to see another hard point. Q9 already thinking about that. Have a player on rotation, but you can't lose track of the current hard point. Elevator's still on, and they're still earning time. There's still a chance for them to put this thing pretty well without reach. Q9 now taking the fight back, but Elevator winning gunfights on rotation.
Oh, they baited them, and they got the split spawns as well. We'll be able to get the scrap time in the rotation towards Snoo. Curly had to go huge, and he dies.
Red missile called in. Hard point has not unlocked yet. PJ from the front with the shotgun, waiting for first contact. Not going to be needed. Elevate now earning the time that they need. Only need 4 more seconds. The crossfire setup looks perfect. Can anyone break it if you're Q9? They're trying to hit a pitch, but they're not going to get there in time. And Elevate take their hard point for map 1.
Down in slaying, down in score, but never out. Elevate cracked the code at the end of P4 going back into P1. What a magnificent showcasing at the end of P2. That bait to get them all in to fight for the old time of P2 showed all of the information they needed, and it gave all of the easy routes to be hit. Pinched in from behind, tough scenes. Curly had the ace up the sleeve at the end there for the potential break with the Claw. Immediately shot down from the gunnies of Elevate.
That is as 50-50 of a battle as you're ever going to see on Summit.
Yeah.
But there's one moment that you have to look back on in terms of where was the difference maker. Late in P1, Q9 have 3 operators, and they spend all of it trying to gain a lead late in the game that Elevate can't come back from. But on the scrap battle, as soon as those operators drop, Elevate still find 10 seconds of scrap time. Then they have the operator advantage, which they use perfectly to get more time on P2. And with that, of course, then the extra pressure on rotation gets denied. So a key moment there for Q9 to make the decision of spend it here. Let's grow our lead now. Then we can play for rotation to 3. It doesn't work out.
That in the league is something that they and that inevitably will be coming out from Elevate, because we saw Q9 versus
go all that well.
Just cement side. I mean, Gal is your bracket round, basically top dog such as
Stalwart Wolves has been has been perfect
type analysis. The confidence of the world coming into a tournament like this. You
in the Swiss stage, Rangers to upon that last 7 where of Q9 between them
is to the advantage and sweep very quickly.
Q9 who are not to win that
for map mode, like they're not fundamentally sound.
Championship. I'm a
I was point was actually
very top spot in
and that's going to be key for this firing range search.
As longtime tenured enjoyers of Call of Duty esports and Call of Duty Mobile since its inception, it is very refreshing to hear such fundamentals even being talked about outside a game. It is very important. It will be indicative to your performance and success on this firing range. Again, just to reset up everything, firing range is a venue these two teams know quite well against one another, with Elevate having the edge.
Yeah, casual 22 rounds of search play here last time that they had the chance.
It's unlocked.
They will be on offense. We talked about this map quite often with these guys. They love to just smoke, flash, nade, and then get the bomb planted. Will Elevate have a response for it? This time, they are holding off on their counter nades, and they will, unfortunately, not fully land. So now you got to do this the hard way. Try to re-clear out the backside of trailer. Easier said than done, as Q9 already had the post-plant setups.
What a sick high-low after a very quick plant coming through. It's going to leave Susano in a 1v5, not very likely, always expected to play inside of American, but I mean, a blistering pace for a first round out of Q9, just clearing everything, stuns, nades, flash forward, as you were saying there, get the bomb planted, but knowing that they didn't clear trailer, whether they saw a body in there or not, the high-low, just to dispose of it quickly and not lose any lives along the way was lovely to see.
Yeah, absolutely the case. This is actually going to feel very familiar because we were talking about this map with Stalwart when they played up against Q9. We're saying, hey, you have to understand that it's going to be a smoke first, stun second. Do you challenge through that smoke? Do you wait to play your counter nades? That has to be what Elevate needs to start communicating, because it's always been the case with how Q9 try to approach this offense. This time, not towards A. It's going over to the B site. Initially, there is an elimination from Susano, but the trades are decent over towards the B part of the map, which is now where Q9 have to keep their focus.
And they have full coverage of this. But Elevator setting themselves up for a late flank potentially for Yopi, or he might just join the efforts through the middle of the map, but exit frag upon the bomb plant, 3v3.
Yeah, maybe a bit of mistiming right there. Looked like there was supposed to be a defensive stun to force that challenge, but it doesn't make a difference. Yopi just slides up, finds two, PJ behind him, and the dynamic SNG duo lighten things up for the first round for Elevate.
It's just so timely again. I mean, going back to the interview, just instant callback, just wait for the call and then go. That's exactly what happened. Yobi was on an island by himself and just waited for any sort of advantage to take, and found that pinch scot-free. Big 2 kills. We are tied up in round number 3.
Clean stuff on the retake attempt. Q9 still passive through the middle of the map, looking for some spam shots from Sun in towards trailer. None will land. And for Elevate's defense, trophies inside of trailer with a double stack. Now this one trophy on the backside of A, that's supposed to be there to keep Kendi safe, will likely be destroyed just by the amount of incoming nades that are likely to come through for Q9 if they decide to commit onto the A site. So this setup in the trailer is crucially important if Elevate do get tested today. But for now, Q9 going to see what they can find over towards the B part of the map.
Oh my gosh, Susano.
Yeah.
That's
bold.
That's aggressive.
Yep.
We'll give it up for now, as you saw the information on the other side of wood, expecting for things to go B, but it seems like Q9 are actually using it as an opportunity for a little bit of a bait play. They will leave a player behind, maybe throw anything as of late, see what they can get on the cross back, but wasting a lot of time just trying to find a pick. All 10 or 9 players still alive.
And Yopi gets found inside a trailer. Q9 surely could have utilized that advantage and hit A. That's going to force a rotation back. Susano on the way over towards American. He will only have a pixel peek here down the lane backside trailer. So this is important to note. Again, when does Q9 want to execute? Just a couple of nades just to bait the defense into thinking this is B. Smoke at mid gets denied by Trophy. Q9 have not been able to get the setup that they want. So now it's just down to, can they flood these nades and take control of trailer?
Not able to get the information they want either. I mean, you should know that someone's going to be American, but you got to be careful with the no smoke. PJ is very much so still lurking inside a trailer.
PJ on the cross. Shots are out. This is his opportunity. Has to value his life here. And very wisely backs up. Bomb will be allowed to go down. Keep your eye on PJ. Does he want to try to push through this? His teammates over towards 10, giving us the offer that they're not going to play for a wrap. They're going to try to flood this from the front. Contact though at mid. That's troubling for Elevate. Mauchi now wins back mid-map, and Q9 can keep their full focus on the front, where PJ has to force the issue. Nothing there. Perfect from Q9.
Yeah, wonderful execution coming through once they finally got the isolation for the play call to get over towards the trailer side. Again, without a smoke, you're always feeling a little nervy about that push, given the pixel peak that Susano was holding, and at least the angle that was being held inside a trailer. But I mean, to your point, PJ missing their opportunity, and simply need to be able to go 1-for-1 in that regard. Maybe deny the plant. Does not happen. Q9 take a 1-round lead.
Early offensive smoke and stuns over towards trailer. PJ's in trouble. Pushes forward through the smoke to make sure no one had pushed in towards mid. Late trophy system down. And it's an opening nade that lands onto PJ inside the trailer. So once again, Q9 do what they always do. Smoke the front door, get the bomb down, and now force Elevate to have to consider how they want to retake.
Really need to start seeing some late stuns being held for Elevate to try to deny them that space. Not maybe just try to contest the bomb plant, but find yourself in a 4v5. try to go for an egregious pick over there for Kendi, and Susano loses his life. It's over.
Yeah, absolutely is. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's two ways that Elevate could deal with this play down A lane.
Right.
The first is you smoke mid, you pull off what I like to call the shark play. You smoke it, you push up towards wood, you force Q9 to respect there could be someone at mid. Otherwise, you hold back, and like you said, wait for the nades to come out, throw some of your own. Hopefully you delay the plant from happening until the smoke dissipates, and then you have a chance to contest a little bit more freely without having to worry about deterrence from stuns and smokes. Here is a very aggressive offensive smoke already being placed. Elevate playing through it though. And with an opening elimination on the Sun, that opens up some sniper freedom as well.
I was about to say, or third option, just early stun and try to deny the space to not allow Q9 to walk a little bit further forward. I mean, they really were thinking that it was going to come A aggressively, and it was looking like that for Q9. Two defensive players now over towards B for Elevate's side. Q9, though, down a man. Might just have to do this the old-fashioned way, just gun this first player.
Oh, but Susano does go 1-for-1. That's fine, especially with another teammate nearby. Damage is out, but Klo will fall. Trade through mid-map is good. And with this play, not only have Elevate kept their numbers, they've also taken away the A side of the map, so they have to know that Uling is playing somewhere over here towards B.
Odin 1v3, no easy 1v1s, otherwise you might give Uling an opportunity. Oh, the trigger discipline, shots to the second. Not going to be able to walk away with that one. No free clutches today, but hey, how about a third option? Just stun over the top of the smoke and just deny the space. It works for now until the stuns and the nades are a little bit better time for Q9 to unearth you from that position.
It's a weird setup for Q9. They're actually doing the same thing again. It's a double smoke at mid. It's almost the exact same setup. There's no smoke deep at A. This is only to give Elevate something to worry about at middle, and Kendi is able to still found Mao Chi. Top side wood. Play coming through trailer. Shen in some trouble. Wants to get some barrel control, but it's being held by Yopi. Considerate of the space, he still holds down the trigger. Uling looking for the plant, and he will get it down, but it's still numbers advantage for Elevate as Klo finds trades at mid.
Yeah, we'll get the bomb planted. The exit, though, not as clean as you would like. It's going to leave Sun in a 1v3. Does have a sniper rifle, but is not in the clutch position.
No.
He's going to round this corner. He's just going to get gunned. If you can go 1-for-1, that would have been sick, but you were the last player left alive as Elevate have a brilliant retake back over at A.
Yeah, really nice stuff from Elevate on this defensive half. Just making sure Q9 weren't getting away with absolute murder on the A site, which is something that Stalwart had a little bit of a difficult time doing. Not the case here. Really good stuff coming out. And that now all of a sudden puts us into a 3-3 half as we swap the sides. What is Elevate going to give us an offer of in terms of their offense? We saw when they were playing Tunisia just a moment ago. It wasn't just getting into sight, it was getting through it. Will they have the opportunity to do the same thing here, scaling deep on firing range?
Look at the aggression already over towards A, trying to hunt for some more information over by Showers. The bomb is lurking in this area. And the biggest thing for Elevate right now is how do you get Yopi involved? He is the bomb carrier, but you really want to try to get this guy a couple more kills and a lot more space to free roam.
Yeah, I think the biggest part here is, though, you got Sun, who is supposed to be sniping this A lane. And so you can have Kendi just trying to scout to see if anyone throws a shoulder on the barrel. And as you approach, the only thing you have to be worried about if you're Elevate is a play through trailer. Curly looking for an off angle. That works out for one trade, but can't get anything more. Now it's just down to Chen, and he is working with the shotgun. Not what you want, but Elevate still may feel the need to try to push forward. Instead, Chen gets caught. Save could be said as a secondary kill comes onto Mao Chi, and Elevate take an opening offense after the first blood.
Yeah, good patience. I mean, the stuns and nades only found so much information, but that's exactly what we're talking about. Just no free, easy gunfights. Everything should be traded. Good follow-up by Yopi to then isolate the player with an R9 to your point inside the trailer. Elevate will strike first. Now they have a 1-run lead.
Similar idea here for Q9, except they're putting more focus at mid-map, where Curly and Sun will land eliminations onto 2. Klo cooking up a nade for trailer. It's a bit short. Trailer player will back off. That was Chen initially. And I think Q9 have recognized that if there were to be a hit in a 3v5, it's likely coming to be. So they'll move Chen over that direction and hope that the long-range snipers from Uling and Sun can hang on to A and mid.
Yeah, you got Sun still lurking around American. So you know that one pixel peak might still be there for the information, but you just hold your numbers, take it as a retake if need be, but Sun's opening pick will be taking that jump shot every single time on defense, believe that. As the push starts to manifest, starting to look towards jungle, but it's a triple stack to your point earlier on.
Yeah. This is just a great IGL call for Q9 to move your shotgun this direction. You're not going to feel a threat in trailer in a 3v5. Nice opening shot from Kendi. Do they know Chen's nearby? Doesn't matter. Kendi sees one up top. That's Curly initially, and there's Chen in the corner. Yeah, it's a heck of an opening, but again, the numbers advantage. Likely too much. A hit marker comes through. Oh, Susano, hold on. Something to think about.
Gassing that young man up during the pre-show, just making sure everybody stays aware this guy is absolutely still twisted for only having 3 kills. Lots of that potentially and some more as we are tied up once again. So what's the adaptation going to be here for Elevate? Nades to the middle, double smoke again. Just the same lurk around showers, expecting for these nades to be able to pick something up.
The other thing you got to keep in mind is that Chen is not always running a shotgun. This time he's got an LMG, so he will be playing a little bit more passively around trailer. And he's also more of a threat if Sun feels like he needs some help over towards the side of A long. So something to keep in mind every time we see Chen. Does he have a shotgun? Does he have an LMG? That will give you the indication of what Q9 want to do defensively.
It's a certain amount of PTSD from the last time he was stuck inside a trailer with the shotgun. Didn't exactly go well, but I'm not saying the MG42 would have helped him out in that situation, but it definitely was going to be better once the gunfight starts to occur. A minute has already gone through this round number 9 thus far. Not a whole lot of space has been taken by Elevate, but these nades are going to allow them to do so.
It's interesting. There's 2 trophies for Elevate at mid, none down here at A long. And this is what I'm talking about. Sun can watch one corner, and then if he feels the threat is there, Chen can pop out, get to work, spray things down, find the opening first blood. Now it's to a 5v3. And once again, Elevate, you just don't like the idea of going A, but you also have absolutely no idea what's at B. There's also 2 trophy systems down there and a nasty crossfire.
And Curly and Malchi just been having about a minute 20 conversation of, hey, how you doing? Waiting for this hit to come all the way through, and it's going to have to be A at this point. Nice shots coming through from Klo. It's going to bring us down to a 4v3, and the bomb's going to get planted as well. You should know that you still have players lurking around trailer.
Susano is watching the flank. Q9 opting to stack. PJ on an off-angle frontside trailer. Klo watching for the pinch. Motion from PJ. He gets the first. That gives a little bit of influence in terms of what Klo needs to watch, but he only goes 1 for 1. Down to the 1v2 for Susano. Can he follow up on what he started last round? The smoke makes life miserable. He has to check for the defuse. Does he get forward in time? No, get down, Mr. President. Curly's able to find the kill, and Q9 get the defuse.
Smoke that lane is just so annoying when you're in the sniper clutch position. Has to push all the way forward and just hope to quick scope and gun the first guy and catch the second one trying to stick. Not going to be the case at all. Q9, 2 rounds away from tying up our grand finals at a best of 7. Sun going back to the very similar position. Just going to nade his way forward. Nades all the way over towards A. Elevate looking to pick the pace up.
Yep. And these are late smokes as well behind the cover of those frag grenades, so they are going to fully embellish the backside at barrels. But you can't just pause here.
Yeah.
You get the bomb planted, and yes, they have a deep post plan, but they've got no idea what's over towards trailer. That nade does land, though, so they're going to have an idea that Chen's in position. This is an important 1v1 that Klo takes cleanly. And now all of a sudden, Q9 have a bit of a ruffling to their feathers as they need to find a way in. There's not a lot of options besides the front.
And that's all the information you need right there. Chen swings wide. He has an LMG. Good couple kills come through. The nade bounce is even better. Still walks away with a second 1v3.
Have to be a full ace. If you're Chen after the first dude, he's going to get cut down from behind. I was about to say for a moment, Elevate, who have often gotten deep, holding deep into sight. Very fortunate to not have any counter nades come their way there. They get the plant, and then the post-plant setup largely won thanks to the hold on the flank.
Yeah, good patience for Klo, to your point there, holding out on the flank. But again, getting the information for Chen. You just had to make sure that you double, sometimes triple chow him. Tied up again. Round we go, but it's an aggressive hit over towards B this time. Q9, we're not set up for it.
There is a smoke on site, though, for the defense for Q9. This will gain a little bit of extra time and a little bit extra space for the defenders playing deep over towards tires. Also, the rotation in from mid is decent. Even trade for the most part to this point. 4v3. Advantage to Q9. Kendi around the back. What? What a set of shots from Kendi. And now all of a sudden, Q9 forced to have to defend from inside the site. Klo trying to follow up, and he's going to find the final 2. Elevate on map point.
Oh my gosh. And how the pendulum swings once again. Elevate flipping the script. The aggressive hit over towards B was great. The smoke delayed, but they did not relent off the pressure. Can you follow up here? Will you deny any OT?
Trophy systems again, down over towards trailer. Double smokes in the front side of it will mean that this Q9 defense will have to be respectful of anything possibly through middle. Uling in particular, the one to make sure everything is clear. And as he traverses through mid, he rotates back over to help out on B. Patience for Elevate. Trying to get this thing done in regulation. Stacked up. Just a nade to feel things out over towards A. That will not land, and we're going to get just an even status here, 5v5, minute 20 in the clock.
Yeah. late util could be very important here. Klo is actually, instead of just holding the flank, is actually playing inside of the jungle tower. He might try to go for a little bit of a late pinch should the rest of his teammates find success on a quick plan towards A, but there are defensive members here. Most importantly is Chen inside that trailer.
But Chen has the shotgun this
Correct.
time. So it's an aggressive angle on the barrel. Smoke denied by Trophy System, but Sun showing too much shoulder. That's enough for the kill to come out. And Chen needs help. He needs it badly. Plant on the way. 4v5 situation. Long wrap from PJ. Can Elevate hold on long enough for this to get here? Klo already in the mix. He's got the shots from the back line. How about Elevate? It's all down to one. Mauchi for what would have to be a 1v4. No nades. Tries to jump into trailer. Seen at mid by Susanoo, and Elevate take it down 7-5 and a massive edge in this grand final.
A massive edge indeed. You cannot ask for these maps to be any closer unless it went to round 22, much like it did about a week ago. But Elevate, truly never out. They finally were learning on how to deal with Q9's offense, albeit annoying. We go for a 3-3 half, and even there at the end, the orchestration just to set up Klo for that very long flank again was playing inside of the jungle tower for a very long time, waiting for the execute to come through. The smoke denied to your point, and yeah, that's a certain wrench in the system, but when Sun throws more than just a simple shoulder, he loses his life. You saw the flank come through. It forced everybody's hand, especially Chen, just to come flying out with an R9 shotgun because the assistants got killed. You just can't ask for a better post plant, let alone an execute.
Really well done by Elevate. Just the growth this team has shown in such a short amount of time in Search and Destroy is mind-blowing. It's clean. It's impressive. And it's got everyone on notice.
Oh, yeah.
7-5 the count. Massive edge, like we had mentioned. Taking away Q9's strongest mode on their map pick. Now has Elevate looking down at this map set saying,
even of this grand final,
sweep this out.
Hey, we're 11.
Now, this mental to the success of Q9.
Any takeaways from the Q9 survivability that they just showcased versus X-Rock on this map, though? I mean, I think the recency would say, all right, you had a really strong start, you stopped X-Rock from finding early success, and you were able to take them down here.
You're going to need all of those opening breakoffs that they had that led them to the success that they saw in that map number 3 versus X-Rock, plus a little bit extra. Elevate never give you any easy gunfights as you see in the opening here.
Indeed the case. Well, Elevate, this is their map selection for the controls. They will start on offense, and PJ is already off and running. 3 kills for PJ. Trying to take his efforts towards top laundry. Kendi here to get on the zone to stop the clock, and the kills are not stopping for Elevate. Uling able to at least keep laundry safe, but the Q9 defense is being tested.
Can't stop, won't stop. Elevate's presence on the map is just an absolute blunder. They have players on both the 2 zones because they are that much confident in being able to win the gunfights. But however, they do not go their way. So now Q9 essentially get a clean sweep. They're able to clear out all of the ring. Might have a little 1v1 for the spawn traps should PJ start to take this, but all the focus has to be over towards the pool side.
You also have Susanoo in basketball already, so this is good zoning around this zone for Elevate. The only threat would be through water steps or through money window. Q9 trying to force it on the ladder of the 2, but get pushed back. Kill's good for Yopi as he pitches it towards Kitchen. Sun can only sit here and watch as the first take has already gone today.
Now, Mauchi was trying to go for the spawn trap, and PJ was just lurking inside of the gymnasium, found some timing to be able to work the pinch, and now he's all the way in from behind.
Good macro decisions coming out from Elevate, but Mauchi off the pitch will flush them out of the zone. Keep the clock at least relatively ticking, as immediately off the respawn. Now you've got Elevate forcing some hands over towards B while simultaneously adding an extra 60 seconds with the A capture. Really strong break-off start here for Elevate. 2 life advantage, minute 40 on the clock.
I like what I'm seeing here. Start pushing off through open staircase. It is being watched around jungle side. That will be Sun to try to deal with this 2-player flank that's starting to come all the way through, but it's a great spread for an opening of a B defense.
Uling has also rotated back onto the side rock to make sure this laundry play is kept honest, at least in some regard. Meanwhile, Q9 from the front, dominating at Art. So again, it's an exchange of about 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Moments of brilliance for Q9, counteracted by moments of brilliance for Elevate. And now as the action starts to unfold on top of the zone, the Pred Missile called in. That will be enough to allow Elevate to stay deep over towards Laundry. They're on the zone. Second tick of progress is looking good. And look where Q9 are spawning. They have to try to hit this through mid pillars. Kendi stunned up, topside ring. Kendi, unbelievable shot, but he does get pushed off the zone. Q9 down to a 4v6, make it just 2 as Elevate continue to dominate through Laundry, and they're going to win this offense.
Stack for the segment, get the segment by any means necessary. The contest is not going to be coming in close enough, and a 1v6 just impractical to ask for. An opening and a statement at that for Elevate, winning by way of segment progression. And again, the entire praise for Q9 when they did beat X-Rock earlier today was their opening breakoffs. Elevator just going to be that much better at them as well. Great returning gunfights, great split decision making as well, and routes that are just out of this world. Now you have to respond with an offense if you are Q9.
Big time. Early operators for Elevate finding success. PJ in particular, opening with the Annihilator, has another Pred Missile to work with, and the shots just aren't missing. PJ, 5 in a row, working for an EMP. He's just one off of it. The Pred gets called in, and Q9 are getting battered, as now all of a sudden Yopi's adding insult to injury. It's beautiful. Sheer destruction, sheer bloodshed, and it's Elevate all over the spawn of Q9.
They can't leave. I mean, one player tried and then immediately got gunned towards the back. You got players over by the AC unit. You have to win gunfights mere milliseconds after spawning up, and so far Q9 are at least doing that. But look at the light deficit immediately. There's only 40 seconds remain, and Q9 are trailing by a payload of lives.
Have to find success on this approach over to B. Pardon me, towards A, as Elevate are still winning the middle of the map. Decent eliminations for Q9, keep the clock paused. They're also digging into life deficit just a touch. Don't step off the gas here if you're Elevate. This is still workable if you're Q9. 28 seconds on the clock, but they're still looking for kills before they can commit to staying on the zone. And as they fight in towards money window, Elevate find the kills they need to keep the clock ticking.
The Mauchi and Uling are starting to take more positioning over towards Art. They're thinking that the A push might be a very good bait play, but it just leaves Mauchi. What is left in a 1v2 would have to get 3 kills in a row. There's the second. Stun coming over the top, and Elevator spotting just too damn close. So now the focus has to go back over towards A.
Well, PJ will drop. Clock will stop at 19 as the second tick of progress is about to come through at A. And it looks like Elevate, and they just chalk and rotate. A couple of desperate nades just to see if anything will land. 14 will play 9. We'll have a minute 19 on the clock. Key 1v1 here. Shots landing for Mauchi, but respecting the opponent of Klo. Nade Cook tossed back towards, and that's going to be good enough to isolate. So 9-13. Operators at the ready. All 5 for Q9. How do you approach?
I think this is what's most impressive is that Q9 were able to do that while still sustaining and holding on to all 5 operators. So that gives you an opportunity to maybe try to work on this transition. They trade and for at least 1 in their base. Here comes the Annihilator.
Clean. Owling able to use that to clear out Art. And now he's got domination over the pillars. Kendi trying to stay covered, and now there's a smoke to give him a little bit more space to work with. What else can you hit if you're Kendi? Yeah, he's still alive and kicking. Kendi almost able to put this together himself. 10v3. Elevate with a significant life lead. But at the same rate, Q9 only spend 1 of the operators. So yes, they're going to be down 0-2, but they will have a lot to play with going into round 3.
I mean, but they're 0-2 down, and now you have to reverse sweep while holding on to all your resources. So you do have to be very smart with how you start dipping your toes into the resource pool if you are Q9, because they do have to last. And then you also do have to hope that those that expend them early in this round are also able to have them prepared for the next round, because an offense still has to be won by Q9.
Well, Shen's going to kick us off with War Machine. He is throwing it in the wrong direction. That was Elevate are making moves over towards A. Already on the zone. Smoke making a mess of this offensive attempt, though, as they can't quite get into money window. Q9 around the back, not able to find success off the pinch. It's PJ and Yopi, because of course it is. They're able to find every single elimination, and this A zone is already being torn apart as no one can find entrance for Q9.
Streaks, operators at the ready for Elevate. Yopi's going to call in a Predator missile. It will find one, has the operator upon the respawn. Same can be said for PJ and Klo. A-Zone still being tacked over. The third segment will be contested by a couple of Q9 players, but nobody's looking in the corner for where PJ's lurking.
Yeah.
Are we going to contest it with the sniper rifle? You're dead anyway. You get the extra 60 seconds, and the clock stays stalled because the first is locked at B.
Yeah, you can start to feel the frustration from Q9, and they're just diving in, and they're getting torn apart. PJ for 3, B-Zone likely already gone, and Q9 have been blasted out of map 3. Elevate are going to be on championship point in the blink of an eye.
It's not over yet. Ready?
I thought we were loaded into a raid control. We gotta get to dinner or something, Elevate? What's going on? Q9 just had no response whatsoever in everything that we were gassing them for. What made them so good versus X-Rock just was not existent at all, and not for a lack of trying. The opening breakoffs and the setups were very much so one-to-one versus X-Rock. The difference is that Elevate were more prepared for it. Wait for the call, then push together. That is what they said in the interview, and that's what they've been doing time and time again from the beginning of the tournament of CDSI all the way to this very point in time.
Oh, the mental games. This is where it starts to become really demoralizing for Q9. Not being able to punch the finish line on either of the first 2 maps, both very winnable. Then you step into a map 3, you get destroyed. And that statistic we showed at the beginning of this matchup. This is the 5th grand finals that Q9 has been in this year. They have yet to raise a trophy. And you got to start thinking at this point, they're sitting there saying, not again.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a different type of mental hurdle that you can never prepare for. Nobody wants to be coined to Silver Surfer, but Q9 have yet to break the mold, and again, now the road becomes that much more treacherous. That's why we put an immediate focus. When we saw the best 7 map set, we put an immediate focus on the first 3, because Q9 needed that search and destroy, and I'm not saying that loud enough. They desperately needed that map 2 just to extend it to a 5.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is, we're going into a Hacienda hardpoint, and albeit Q9's hardpoint pick, they only just narrowly beat X-Rock earlier today by a whole 4 seconds. We know that
Lower bracket maybe right here with Hacienda.
I need to get all that printed for a bumper sticker for each one of these individuals, because that is a hell of a run and a hell of a ride that they've been on towards the end of this entire tournament year. Hacienda Hardpoint going to be the next and potential final destination here at DreamHack.
Lived, but I'm big shout outs for making this all possible. It's on the other right now, but still
Extra, but
yeah. Period. Collect themselves. One of those situations. Elevate has been. They still find this dirty. Q one for the DHL. If you're sitting at home,
you got Road Atlanta not
and looking up to
meditate. Should
crowd right here.
Yeah, we had
4 chances to Chinese team.
so been
Fat over the course and perfect form. Do they have what it takes to get it done here? As mentioned, they have gone through a gauntlet over the course of the last handful of months. Had to get through Godlike, had to get through Stalwart, had to get through Wolves, had to get through X-Rock, had to get through Q9, and that's just at CDSI. They had to do that all over again here at Champs, and so far it's been good. But Q9 on their map selection starting things off hot after, of course, they just won this map versus X-Rock a moment ago.
Yeah, split spawn almost immediately will start to incur, but a great opening few engagements for Q9. My goodness, clearing away the upper halls, not just for the first time, but also the second as well. And open up with a good 10 seconds. Susano's had the fun, was able to find 2 of his own. Should open things up a little bit more for Elevate to move forward.
However, though, Susano does not get forward into the Q9 windows. So that will be enough for Q9 to bounce back, get back to the hard point, and still win the high ground emphatically. More score being tallied for Q9 off their respawn over towards open stairs. They're also going to have high ground control. Kendi feeling the pressure, jumps out in for the contest, but met by Sun on the corner. Mauchi also still alive on 6 in a row. A perfect start for him. Eventually shut down as Elevate will get into the hard point for 10 seconds to fight.
Yep, that'll give them ever so slight lead, but most importantly, ever since that spawn flip did occur from the first 10 seconds, Elevate have still been getting these well spawned, so they'll be the first all the way through the mansion. In the last 2 seconds were fought over for Q9, you know exactly where they're coming from. That's been back.
Yeah, and you've got number 2 in PJ, SMG in hand, playing over towards Tiles. He'll be the first set of defense from the front. You also have Elevate responsible for the back end. They're finding kills on the flank. So now it's just down to what happens from the front side. Low, brilliant start. The Grau in hand. Again, we talked about this. Elevate not preferring to play with two Odins. They're just going to run things like the Type 19 right there and the Grau on the other hand. And that little bit of extra aggression allows them to play with a little bit more speed. Good opening. First 20 seconds go to Elevate, but they are now spawning out. Q9 from behind, not finding success on their break with the proximal spawns, and now Elevate are alerted to the play.
Q9 thought that they had the better advantage. They got some split spawns, and they were trying to set up a pinch from the teammates that spawned over by driveway, but another spawn occurs, and then Elevate get the freest angle. They all shift their focus forward, and it's a bloodbath across the Lambo. Someone is going to have to watch that very beautiful car, but Q9 sent packing on the rotation to new.
Yeah, I know that there's going to be conversations. It may have already happened. I'm sure Bobby's already making a video on it, but this Elevate team is not going for the sexy Odin plays. It's Type 19s, it's Graus. It's allowing them to play with this extra tempo, this extra speed, and you saw it in the 1v1 there. The Odin absolutely rinsed by the Type 19 as Elevate have a massive lead and a quick rotation to P3.
Full auto weapons comparatively to single tap helps out the speed, the setup, and everything else in between. Elevate playing with a certain different amount of pace. Link pulls out the War Machine and just gets cut down almost immediately. Look at the operators ready to be pulled by Elevate 2 in response.
They've got office control, they've got patio control, and they're just throwing everything. All 5 operators at one point were out, still swinging for the fences. Teed up and knocked out are Q9 as they are being read like a 3rd grader's book, and Elevate reads at a 6th grade level.
With pop-up pictures.
Might be.
Oh my goodness. Well, all 5 operators will be expended. You do have 2 Predator missiles for this rotation, but it's not a bad call. I'm sure a lot of people are probably judging it, but you are blowing them out of the water through the first 3 hills. It is about to be 120 to 22. Yep. Look at the rotation over towards new. All of Q9 forced to try to play through arches and maybe try to get a rotation over towards new, but Elevate with the office spawns, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the next door.
This is an important rotation here. Q9 have to have something to talk about, but Elevate have an EMP, they have a Pred missile, and there may be an issue as everything has paused. And Elevate's looking around like, what do you mean? Did you see what was happening? We're blowing them out of the water, but both refs are actively discussing with our teammates, so very well may have been something going on with the setup for Q9, as obviously that was about as bad as we've seen all weekend.
Yeah, something did feel a little off, but also that very much so could have been just Elevate being Elevate.
Well, that's, I wouldn't put
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, is what I'm saying.
We're going to give Bobby some more time to edit that video. Shout out to all you guys.
On Friday, taken care of.
Have backed off. Oh, stop it. Don't put live.
As well. I mean, it's been all those teams.
After this, don't go.
Snapdragon Elite.
And though of course we have
To Elevate, to
it.
Thanks a lot, Glitter. Yeah, we're hanging here and like
Just how. And if you're just.
Ready to go again. Starting.
Screens. Elevate are up on championship point should they win this map 4.
Indeed the case. We will be starting off what looks to be here we go, 67 to 19. That was weird how we spotted. Not gonna lie. All right, we got our bearings straight. I just got so bamboozled. Everyone just teleported all over the map. But we're ready to go again. Starting this from where things started to go wrong on the tech pause. So 71 plays 22. Q9 do have an advantage when it comes to the early operators, as we still have a full P3 to fight for.
Yeah, let's not forget what Elevate did do once they had all of their operators available. Post the game being re-put together, they popped everything all at the same time, but Q9 do have that advantage here. They're still in possession of the time.
Yeah, Gravity Vortex gun also being spent to block this rotation over on the back. And ooh, for a moment, you thought there was going to be the long wrap coming out of Curly. Not going to happen. He just holds on to the top side of patio. Has himself a Predator missile, and shuts down Kendi's War Machine. So here we go, all of a sudden Q9 a little bit of extra life since our restart. Trade's looking decent for Elevate, but the back scrap time still looking pretty solid for Q9. Pred missile called in to stop the Purifier, and the last challenge is on.
And you saw a slight little moment right there that had this lead be grown before we had to recreate the map, is that Elevator not playing with any Odins. They're playing the Type 19 game, they're playing with a couple of Grows. Their pace is very oppressive, and Q9 finally able to deal with it, coming back in for a good amount of time on a P3. They only trail by 40.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like if you know you're going up against an automatic rifle line, you better get to rotation first.
Correct.
And use the power of the Odin. That has been a little bit of an issue at times for Q9. Although here, you've got Chen on a Purifier, locking things down towards the open staircase. Now takes his attention back over towards Tiles as the rest of his teammates are getting a read that, yep, Elevator coming over towards the P2 side. Up and over, Kendi trying to find some different angle to make a move, but not gonna work out. Chen continues to rip him apart with the Purifier, and Q9 have brought this back to within 20 points.
Chen still has Purifier through upper halls, but all of this push from the respawns is manifesting all the way through the driveway. They're already past Lambo, up on top of the water side, trying to keep it contested.
Sun, one more shot with the Sparrow lands. Bold break attempt from Chloe with the equalizers, only gets one. Trying to open the door for his teammates to fly forward, and boy, will they ever. Oh man, what a clean break for Elevate at the scrap time. Now trying to take the battle a step further as Q9 are a bit stuck over towards Lambo.
Chen tried to utilize the Predator missile just to help him and his teammates of Q9 try to maneuver their way out from Lambo. 102 to 69, going back towards P1 again with this 40-point lead.
Looking really solid, even pushing beyond the limits of this hard point. Maybe trying to get an early flip of the spawns, and that will be occurring as Elevate move over towards lobby side. Q9, a chance to win the windows, though, with this long rotation, but not coming away with any of the gunfights. It's a 40-point lead and growing as Elevate still find themselves in the hard point.
Really good positional awareness coming through from Elevate. A lot of focus down low, but look at the upper hallway control. Again, Chloe is a problem so long as he continues to run these routes. Everybody from Q9 are more or less just trapped on the office side to try to get inside of upper halls. You can see what it means for Elevate, just soaking up more time.
Yeah, and this is just such a good response here from Elevate after Q9 on the restart. Looked pretty potent, but still, Elevate just have been equal to every task thrown their way. Whether it be opponent on the other side of the stage, whether it be restarts, whether it be search and destroys, doesn't make a difference. They are finding ways to win out. Q9 battling with their backs against the wall. Do well here to at least get a little bit of the response time as the scrap at 1 starts to fade away. And now we look towards the minimap. What happens towards P2? Elevate currently winning rotation, but Q9 fighting back.
They're going to have to fight back a whole lot harder, though, Alan. 132 to 85, and Chloe is just finessing for 2 seconds of time. It will be traded, but Q9 needs to reap the benefits from a spawn out that occurs, but Sun just ran immediately in the front of the mansion. Now all this hits coming from the front of the rocks.
Claw out, ready to go over towards the U-Haul. Yopi, he's got himself up and open with initially what was a Sparrow, and actually on the response here, Q9, they throw a Gravity Vortex gun into the point. That works out nicely. Curly following up with the equalizer, but only gets 1. So now all of a sudden, Yopi steps out. Elevate, split spawns, looking for a pinch around the back. Q9 dealing with this, though, as the hit is in pieces, and that will be enough for Q9 to get into the hill.
And north-south spawns, a couple of recurring members for Q9 going to get gunned towards the back, but Chen was one that survived. Pulls out the Purifier, trying to lock down the back end of the 25 seconds or so. And Elevate, well, they might just have to concede it, but they're trying to take advantage of this pinch that comes through. Chen, with the Purifier, shuts the majority of it down.
And he's got himself onto a Pred missile, working halfway towards an EMP as well. That could be crucial for Q9's comeback efforts. Scrap time going to be fought for because Elevate, of course, are going to fight for the scrap time. Could have put them a little bit late on rotation. You can see the motion on the top side of the minimap. You've already got one member for Q9 getting over towards that kind of cross mid connector. Kendi playing over the well, though. A difficult spot to deal with, and that's why this lets the Type 19 rip through Q9's rotation, and now Elevate have spawns moving into new.
And Malchi actually had a really good timing for that flank to start coming through, but all the respawners were able to read it. Here comes some operators being infested. It's shrouded by the Predator missile for them to move forward.
Yeah, Susano has to hold, though. Backside 10, so even though the Pred missile doesn't land, the operators and the eliminations do come through for Q9. Now the next hit for Elevate from the front. Already being pressured. PJ's trying to step into the smoke. How has he managed to do that? How has he managed to do that? PJ! What are we talking about? What a three-piece for PJ! Chen and Curly trying to hang on. Not able to do so as Susano gets himself 3 in a row as well, and Elevate have blown the lid wide open to P3.
There's still only 30 seconds between these two teams, 15 left to fight for. Split spawns have occurred, but the ones that spawned over by Office were dealt with from Q9, so now they're trying to push all the way from the fences side. Able to at least collect on or two. Art Wuling still trying to make sure they keep all the 10 seconds. Every single kill that is being found on this side of the map is beneficial for Q9, still getting in a better position for the rotation, but even better for Elevate to mean that they can get more time getting closer to that 250 mark.
Q9 has to lock down this rotation. Elevate growing their lead to just over 30 points or so if they could get into the early time. Contest is here. Wuling deals with the first contestant. Now trying to zone over towards bottom bar side. They've got a read that Elevate have gotten a couple of spawners towards both, but the hit is actually coming from the front. War Machine is out, but immediately shot down, and Q9 have put together the perfect setup to start.
Just need to get Curly inside this hard point. Has an equalizer at the ready. Could be the difference maker in between flipping the lead fully, but it could just be the Gunny that is just getting the job done. Susano down low will find a trade. Split spawn dealt with. Q9 hold.
Oh, love this gravity gun play. Although Mauchi thought he would have locked down the bottom jump up towards water. That doesn't actually work. Fortunately, Wuling picks it up with the War Machine. Now he's got the read that it is boathouse spawns. Lots of damage. Talent as Wuling will blast him back to the respawn screen. Q9 now in the lead, looking for more. 12 seconds of time to fight for, and Elevate would have to still contest this through the equalizers. That eventually gets put down, but still, Q9 find a way to win the scrap.
For the first time this entire map for Q9 have a lead. 178 to 158, we go again. Back to the center of the map, a couple Hunter Killer drones being thrown out from the upper windows for Q9, trying to win the jostling for position up top while also maintaining time down low.
Moment of pause here. It's Elevate trying to fight from the low ground. Dive into the smoke. Susano, good read, able to clean up Wuling. Now it's just down to what else can he find? And part of me, is that smoke even on screen? Susano is blitzing everybody through it. Guy's got infrared goggles or something, I don't know. But Elevate, now on 3 in a row, can get more time to try to bring this back to level terms.
Q9 now on the unfavored side, but it's just sprinting straight into the site itself. Curly goes on a massive spree, but it's a good couple trades to come through for Elevate. They'll maintain good high ground positioning, but one player has actually slipped the net. Chan's all the way through the Lambo side, and you might have to have that realization sooner rather than later if you are Elevate.
Dude, Yopi, unreal. Up to 34 kills on 4 in a row, shut down as Sun and Wuling will string together a couple of fadeaway kills for Q9. Spawn situation, good for Elevate for now, but this hard point isn't open yet, so it's still going to be well-sided spawns. Q9 spawning towards the bottom side of the map. Every gunfight is a big one. Shen trying to get into lobby, shut down. Elevate through the back driveway, can only find a couple of kills. It's a 50-50 battle over the top of P2.
Got driveway spawns coming to Elevate. They will be here first. Purifier might have been popped too early, but Sun has a Sparrow at the ready from inside the hill.
We've taken the lead.
First couple of shots are in. PJ
Oh my.
still hiding in the smoke. As if to say, you think the smoke is your friend? I was born in it. An opportunity for Q9 still with these extra operators to hold on to some massive time. 35 seconds to fight for. Elevate spawning close. Here comes Susano, able to get the first, tracks onto the second. Oh my goodness, Elevate find a way to break a contest. Still 25 seconds to earn.
Wuling has a War Machine, is actually going to decide to call it in right here. It's going to match that from PJ, has a Purifier on the opposite side.
Over the mantle, tough timing, but still finds a way to get to the back driveway. And Elevate, 15 seconds, looking good for them. Q9 splitting all over the map in terms of their spawns, so they're going to send 2 on rotation, 3 trying to finesse the exit, and through this smoke, Elevate are not going to be denied, as they will make sure every single second is contested.
Yeah, Chen's going to just die at the old time. You also have one player of Sun that spawns over by the rocks, maybe looking for a couple of exits, just playing through the open staircase, but the foot race was on quite some time ago over towards P3. Q9 currently hold the lead, but they still have numbers and the close spawns to boot.
Yopi gets shut down from his Sparrow. Klo has the equalizer, surprised by Wuling. That's a huge shutdown. Hard point opens. Q9 have the numbers. What can PJ do from inside the hill? Finds the first, tucked into a corner. No trade. He's off the regen. PJ's getting the help from Klo. That was just down to what can Q9 do. They still don't know PJ's here. He's going to finesse around the back line. Kendi now all of a sudden has the War Machine. He gets pushed on and at least trades out his life. Even battle over the top of the hard point. 225 to 210. Favor to Q9.
Curly is going crazy right now. 47th kill for them in this map, number 4, 228. And counting on up, but PJ still hanging around the joint. Is able to combine for 2. Sun's nade at least finds a trade on the Klo. But all this time is damning. An Elevator getting closer to the lead that Q9 has.
That is one slippery son of a gun. PJ sliding back and forth. Opens up the hard point again for the scrap time. Now, again, on rotation. Elevate, committing every single resource from the middle of the map. Q9 a bit split as Elevate just run right in. It surprises Q9. The trades are good and Elevate are going to get the early time.
Oh, PJ just catching them by surprise. 42nd kill for that young man. 224 to 230. The rotation was on the pier. Fire call by PJ, and he is locking down the upper halls.
And he knows exactly where Q9 are coming from. No operators available for Q9 to respond to this, but they still find the shutdown regardless. Follow-up from PJ is good. Now it's down to Klo. Over the top, he's able to find one. Elevate, a chance to put the game away here, but the contest is still alive. Q9 coming fully off the respawn through boat.
Equalizer called. Needs to fight
Shut
value.
down.
Curly shut down almost immediately. 4 dead, 5 all wiped off the floor. Elevate can still win here.
Last 10 seconds over the last month, the COD gods have given its toughest challenge to its strongest warrior. And at the end, there are no more questions. There are no more doubts. Elevate are the greatest Call of Duty mobile team in the world.
When they were pushed against the walls, Elevate delivered not just at CDSI, but also with the targets on their back here. Q9, Silver Surfers once again, commiserations, hugs across the board, not just across the seas, but also here at DreamHack Atlanta. Elevate get the better of Q9 once again.
What a battle. I mean, we got 4 maps, 3 of which could have gone either way. You have to give the respect where it's deserved, and Q9 absolutely earned it. But like you said, 5 grand finals.
Man.
5 second place finishes. Tough scenes, but at the end, there can only be one. And Elevate did it on the Eastern Hemisphere. Elevate did it on the world stage. Your 2024 World Champions, it's Elevate!
Bringing home the big bucks. Insane. Congratulations on y'all win. Man, everything's going crazy out here. Come here. You can answer the question, dude. Which end? Who are you talking to out in the crowd?
FDX.
And what are you saying to him?
4-0.
Sometimes that's all you need to say. It's 4-0. I mean, you guys came in and really made this one happen. Big 4-0, like your homie said here. I mean, was it easy?
Of course.
Dang. Well, I feel like when it comes to
All right. We're having some issues. One real quick. We're going to come over here. Right here in the middle. Halo. Here, you know what?
I can translate for you guys. You can't go away from me. Come here, Candy. Come here. I can translate for you. Don't worry. How does it feel like to finally be a winner? You couldn't get that in Smart Omega back in 2022, nor back in 2020. How does it feel like to finally win it on the biggest stage of Call of Duty Mobile?
Hindi ko alam yung masasabi ko pero kami yung the best.
He said that he doesn't know what he wants to say, but he just wants to say that he's the best. And of course, the best that you are, the best performing team in Call of Duty Mobile. And I also wanted to ask from the coach himself, I feel like we've had a lot of spotlight on the members here, but I do want to ask a question for you, Coach Alea. How did you finally get to this point? You've been loyal to these boys for so many years as the Low Kings, as the Mambas. How was that journey for you?
Sobrang hirap, sobrang saya. Marami kaming pinagdaanan bago namin narating to. Lahat ng pagkatalo namin noong 2022, 2023, eto 2024, nakuha na rin namin. World Champion, CDSI Champion, GM6 Champion, GM5 Champion, GM7 Champion, Regional Champion.
Mic drop. But he said, through the hardship, there was happiness. They were champions here, but they paved their way through it. They were champions. I mean, again, no need for translations. That was a lot of championships here, F. Again, F. with the selfie with the teammates. Hey, let's go. Again, F. You good with that? You have one more team. I think, you know, for me, it's not a question for you guys, but a statement. But can I get a... Yeah? Okay, when I say 3, 1, 2, 3.
Uy, Philippines!
Back to you, Glitter.
Well, you can see just how happy, excited everyone is on Elevate for being able to take this win home, and they did it in such a decisive fashion. Regardless of what was thrown their way all weekend long, they looked near flawless.
Nearly. Near flawless? What are we talking about? They were flawless.
Yeah, pretty damn flawless if you ask me. That is sparkling clean. I mean, throughout the entirety of the road for the tournament, starting all the way at Swiss, coming into this tournament from their CDSI win, all the way through lower bracket, confidence was thumbing. I remember seeing these guys even in the hotel lobby, and they were just already filled to the brim with confidence, knowing that they had the target on their back, knowing that they were the better team when it comes down to respawns. How can you not be a fan of this team?
7-0 map count on Championship Sunday. Shut the front door. That's disgusting. I don't think in any form across Call of Duty that I've ever witnessed have I ever seen something like that.
So dominant and consistent throughout the entirety of the tournament is what's most alarming, because Call of Duty for us, especially even Call of Duty Mobile no different, is that it's so day to day. But they walked in Friday, great. Saturday, fantastic. Sunday, champions. That is just absurd to see that consistency.
Unreal.
This is going to be huge for Elevate now. Best team in the world for Call of Duty Mobile. Looking to the next year of competition, everyone is going to be having their eyes on them, watching them, what they're able to do yet again as a team. As the next year of competition kicks off, they are going to have a bar set very high, especially after the performances we saw here this weekend when it comes this time around next year.
Absolutely. I mean, 6 teams out of the East make it to playoffs, 2 from the West. Yeah, you get the Gallerus who make it into the Final Four, but Elevate beat everybody except for Luminosity. There's still that. A little cope, but I think the thing about it is a new region finds itself on top of the COD Mobile ladder. It starts off with a very dominant North American scene a couple of years prior. Of course, the COVID year, we split it. Hard to say what was better. That starts that whole rivalry between East and West.
Yep.
Last year, West falls short. This year, expectations to rise up. Doesn't happen, and it's a new region inside of the Eastern Hemisphere that reigns supreme. Dominant stuff from Elevate.
It goes even well beyond just the mechanical skill that they do have. I mean, dropping the kills is one thing, but it's also what they're able to do along the way as well. Their adaptability in search and destroy, their consistency and fundamentals in the respawns as well is why they're highly regarded. I mean, this convincing of a Grand Finals win, we're going to be talking about this all the way until this time next year.
Yeah, I think a lot of the